my chat family. How is everybody doing? Happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope everybody's doing awesome on this Tuesday. I am Marlene. I'm the content creator of the Marlene Saunders Show, where I discuss on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays particular real talk, real conversation topics. And today is no different. Today we're talking about controlling workmates and management. Now, I know that they talk about bullying when it comes to bullying in school, but bullying doesn't end. I feel like bullying happens while you're in elementary, middle, and high school, and then it's just another form of bullying that happens when you get to work age, 16 or 15 or whenever you start a job. And if you don't know yourself, if you don't stand up for yourself when it comes to a job, they will run over you. They will bully you and they will control you. And I wish that this was something that I knew when I was younger, or I wish that somebody had taught me this when I was younger, that you don't have to be controlled on a job, that there's other options for you. No matter where you live, no matter what your education is, you don't have to let a boss or workers, other co-workers control you. Now, I will say this. Yes, you have to be assertive. Yes, you have to speak up for yourself, but you also have to let yourself know that there's limits to everything. Yeah, you do your work and then that's it. One thing that I cannot stand when it comes to jobs is micromanagement. Now, we know that on a job, yes, of course, a manager is supposed to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. But I mean after that. After you doing what you're supposed to, but the ones that just hoover in and they're watching every little thing you do and they're nitpicking, and most of the time the ones that are micromanaged are the ones doing the work. But then you have their friends, right? I know that I have had it, and I know that maybe many of my chat family has had it as well, that you can be working at a job and doing everything that you're supposed to, but they want you to do all the work of other people so that they can get to slack off. And that's just not going to work. It's just not going to fly. I don't play those type of games. And many people, when it comes to on the job, want to control you and use you and make you feel like you're nothing. And it's not true. You are somebody. You're somebody of importance. You're somebody very important and special and all of those things. And it seems like jobs take you for granted. They don't respect us. They don't respect our time. They don't respect our energy. But the ones that don't do the work, the ones that are their little friends, right? They're their friends on the job. They don't speak up and tell them what they need to do. What they want is they want somebody that they can control, like a little puppet, to do their work or their friends' work. And I get tired of it. I get tired of being the person on the job. I don't need somebody to come around and tell me it's time for you to do this, it's time for you to do that. I'm a fully grown woman. I don't know about you all, but I can't stand it on a job. People who are micromanagers and they're not even your manager. First let's start talking about coworkers that are controlling. The ones that try to micromanage, the ones that will go and run and tell your supervisor or your manager anything. They're like the little what do you call it, I can't think of the term, but they're the persons, they're little rats. They go and they tell all the little things. Oh, this person's doing this and this person is doing that. Kiss up. I could think of another term, but we're gonna keep this PG. There's always people who are like kiss ups for the boss or the supervisor. And it's ridiculous because most of us don't need somebody telling us what to do. I know I don't. I don't need a coworker. I don't need a manager, because when you work at a job long enough, you know what you're supposed to do. But there's always somebody who is watching to try to get you in trouble. I went through this with a coworker on more than one occasion, telling me what I need to do. Meanwhile, they're not doing anything, or even worse, they're trying to get you to do their work so then they don't have to do it. That's one thing that I cannot tolerate when it comes to working a 9 to 5, 7 to 3, whatever is the shift of a job. Is there's always people on the job that makes the job more difficult. It's not that the job is bad. It's not that the job is hard. It's just that people on the job don't stay in their place. They don't mind their own business. And I get so irritated by people like that, that are controlling, that are manipulative, that like to go and spread rumors and lies and try to get you in trouble. And even worse, some people are so evil and twisted that they want to get you fired from your job because they don't like you for some reason. Sometimes people you don't even have to do anything. They just want you to get fired. They just want you to lose so that they can laugh and make fun of you because they're jealous of you. They don't like you for some reason, or maybe because you have a strong personality, you have an education, you're good looking, you have a nice car. There's a lot of reasons why people on a job just don't like you. And I found for myself that you can speak up for yourself. That's very important, because how you start a job is how the job will continue. So if you start off a job, being very timid and not speaking up for yourself, that's how it's going to be for the majority of the job. If they see that they can say this to you and control you and get you to do whatever it is that they want, they will. If you guys could please hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Good morning to everybody. If you don't speak up for yourself, everybody, then nobody is going to speak up for you. You have to be the one to say, you know what? I don't deserve this. I deserve better than that. And unfortunately, sometimes the jobs lose a good employee. They lose a good worker because they are controlling, manipulative, and this is one thing that I cannot stand when it comes to a job. There are people on the job, and what they will do is they will wear out one employee, the one that shows up on time, the one that does the best work, and the ones that really don't do anything, those are the ones that they give raises to. They give them time off and all of those things because those are their friends. And that's something that you have to really pay attention from the beginning and call it out. And, if you can, go to management if they're not in management, because that has happened to me before as well. You will be on a job and you go to try to get some time off, maybe for a special occasion, a vacation, even some sick time. And they don't want to give you that time because they want to be off the same time with their friends on the job. And I will say, I'm not like everybody else. I come from the belief system that a job is not a place for friendship. I know everybody's not going to agree with me with this, but I don't believe that a job is the place for friendship. A job is a place you're supposed to go to, get the money, and leave. But people get into the job and everybody starts getting in each other's business. They want to find out what relationship you're in, how much kids you have, how much money you make, are you in school, they want to know everything about your life so that they can use it later on as some sort of ammunition or fuel to make fun of you, to talk about you, or to ultimately get you fired. And I had to learn that from just years of experience, that don't go on a job expecting for people to respect you. You have to put things in place on a job. You have to tell them, I don't come to the job to make friendships. I'm here to work. I'm here to handle my business, and I'm here to go home. If you start off on a job telling them your business, they're going to want more and more and more. Hey, Metro, how are you doing? Good morning. Appreciate you being here. Shout out to my mods. Appreciate every single one of you. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday so far. And I wanted to say to everybody who feels overwhelmed on their job, many of us, we work really hard on our jobs, but we don't get the respect that we deserve. I can say we are taken for granted. We don't get raises. We don't get the accolades. There's always somebody who will how do I say it in a nice term? There's always somebody who will say that they did all the work when you did all the hard work, and then they get the credit. It may be your supervisor, or maybe your manager, or maybe other people, but I hate that on a job. They always want to talk about teamwork until there's no team, when it's just you, or maybe you and another person on the job that is putting in the hard work and nobody else is. You know, it's not always a teamwork on a job, and you have to realize the ones that actually will be supportive actually do care about you, and they want you to be successful, like having team meetings, everybody having the same standard. And what I can't stand on a job is that there is not one standard for everybody. It's like there's a standard for friends, their friends on the job. The ones that they promote, they let them take time off, they let them leave early, they give them raises, they get bonuses. And you, as the hard worker, you don't get raises, you don't get bonuses. Actually, they always want you to work late, work overtime. So that's one thing, just like the saying goes, you have to take control or you will be controlled. You have to take control or you will be controlled on a job. Let's see. Metro says there are times for the first 13 years in retail, it was rough, especially with management and certain coworkers acting a fool and hardly get any benefits. There's a lack of communication and working together. Yeah, I see that all the time, Metro. I agree with that too. Lots of jobs, especially, I wouldn't call them minimum wage jobs, but jobs that you don't have to have a special education for. I find that they feel like you're a dime a dozen, and they can disrespect you. They can treat you any type of way. And when they get sick and tired of you, that all they'll do is just fire you. So I always say to anybody who's just starting on a job, because everybody has to start somewhere, you know. So when you get your job, make sure you're still going to school, you're getting your education, whether even if it's just getting a vocational or a technical, something that only takes a few months of training, whether it's computers, whether it's medical, whether it's my Wi-Fi was buffering for a second. Wow, I think it's back. Sorry about that, guys. I guess it's about to storm or the Wi-Fi is bad. I don't know which one it is. Metro says, yes, it's good to have mandatory meetings. What should have been done better and bring the company to the top. But they don't do that, do they, Metro? They don't have good, it's not like good teamwork. It's all about what whoever is in charge, the supervisor, manager, whoever are the friends, and they all stick together and try to whatever. They try to get whatever they want done. They try to, so that they can get upper positions, so that they can get more money, so that they can be able to relax, and you're the one running around like a chicken with your head cut off, doing all of the majority of the work while they just sit down. And one thing that I cannot stand on a job is when you have somebody who's a micromanager, and it could be a fellow coworker who's not even in management. We always have somebody who always feels like they should be walking around telling everybody what to do, and it's not even their job. I can't stand that. Like, don't tell me what to do, and that's not even your job. That's not even your position. So we really do have to speak up for ourselves and put people in their place from the beginning. Like, don't tell me what to do. I know what to do. If I need somebody else to tell me, they'll tell me. Stay out of my business. You do have to speak up for yourself on a job, or you will get run over. And for me, for a very long period of time, I used to be really fearful, really scared to speak up for myself, because I said, I need my job. I don't want to say anything because I can't lose my job and all of those things. But don't be a doormat. Don't let people run all over you, especially talking to you disrespectfully. Because I've had really horrible jobs when I was younger, before I had got training and things, and talk to you any type of way. I've even had management to cuss me out for no reason because they were stressed out about something. So don't think that you don't have power. There's rules on a job that it doesn't matter if a person is management. If they're being disrespectful to you, report them. Maybe you may lose the job, but you will still have your self-respect. Don't let anybody treat you any type of way. And also, in talking about jobs, there are things that go on the job that is not right, and it can be sexual harassment. I know that happens for on both sides, not just the ladies, but to my male chat family as well. Be careful of all of those things. If you don't feel comfortable, if you feel disrespected, if you feel like you don't even want to be at the job anymore because other people are making you feel uncomfortable, that's an unsafe environment and you don't have to take it. Metro says, I've been employed for 20 years and the retail industry right after my dad passed away 20 years ago, and started off minimum wage in 2004 and have done better since 2013 and beyond. That's awesome, Metro. I'm glad to hear that. Everybody has to start somewhere. And I hear a lot of people complaining about jobs and there's no jobs, but I just feel that some people, they just don't want to work. They want a convenient job that they can sit down and do little or nothing and still get paid for it. I can't stand it when I'm working my tail off. I'm just literally working myself into the ground. And then you have these individuals that will sit around, they do nothing, they just loaf around, they keep taking breaks. They take a smoke break, they take this break, they're always in the bathroom, they're by the water cooler chatting with everybody, and they're never doing any work. But you're the one busy doing what you're supposed to, and they'll be after you like, have you done this and have you done that? Like trying to assign you things that is not even your job. So for me, if I find that I'm not growing within whatever it is that you're doing, like there's no potential to grow there, go back to school, get your education, get a little training, even if it's some training online, get a course so that you can get a better job. Because sometimes it doesn't matter where you work doing that particular job, you're never going to have good circumstances because it's just the sort of job that it is. So, you have to understand that you can do better. Some jobs will never respect you at all. Yes, some non-managers that doesn't give them the right to tell us what to do, so we just address it to HR, right? The intentions from them, controlling and looking for perfection. Yeah, they should be ashamed. I get so sick of on the job people always telling you what you should be doing, and they're not even taking their same advice. They're telling you to do this and do that, but it's because they want you to do their job. They're trying to give you all of these rules and watching everything you do to try to get you in trouble, because they're the little, I can't think of the term, but the one that goes and tells everything to the supervisor and the manager to try to get people in trouble. People like that, I can't take it. I can't stay in a job for very long when you have somebody who's like a little snake that goes and tells everything that other people are doing and reports back to the supervisor. I don't like that. I can't stand it at all. Metro says, yes, they can be stressed sometimes, and I'm sure it wasn't their intention, but when something needs to be addressed with management, I will discuss it with them face to face. Yes, Metro. One thing that I don't like is when somebody who has nothing to do with the situation on your job, they put themselves in the middle of it, and it's like, why are you involved with this? This is not even your business. They're trying to get you in trouble. They're trying to lie on you. They're trying to find little things so that you can get a write-up, so that you can get a pour, whatever, when you get the scores, when they evaluate you maybe once or twice a year, They're trying to get things on your record so that eventually, I think it's after 3 write-ups, then you lose your job. Yeah, there's people who are controlling, manipulative, and evil like that. That's what they want. They want to bring some harm to you. They want you to lose your job. They want you to be the office person that everybody laughs at. But guess what? What goes around comes around. That's what I always say. Because I was in that position for a really long time, and people didn't know I was in school. So after a while, not only did they get in trouble, I became their supervisor. And that's what other people don't understand, is that you don't have to take that job. You can get a different position, you can get a raise, all of those things. Hi, Miss Tamika. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Appreciate you being here. Shout out to my mods. And everybody, please check out my mods in blue. If they have channels, check out their content because they are all amazing. How are you doing, Tamika? How are you doing, Metro? I appreciate you both being here. I wanted to say that, when we have a job, it can be very frustrating because you not only have to make sure that you're doing the work that you're supposed to, but also most of the time it's not even the job that is hard. Most of the time it's the people who work there, like the supervisors, the management, and your other coworkers that make the job difficult. They are trying to control you, and it's like, I'm not a kid. Some people on the job act like that they are your mother or your father. Like you have to listen to everything that they say, and you don't. You don't have to listen to nothing that these people, like if it's not about the job, like me not performing and doing what I'm not supposed to, then that's different. But when you're just doing your own business and they're always around the corner watching, or paying attention, writing down little notes, there's always an office snitch. That's what I wanted to say. An office snitch. There's always a little office snitch every single time. It was fun to be a cashier, self-checkout, a manager, and a backroom clerk in my younger days, but I like to do what I do in my current position as a greeter and security as top priority. Yes, you have to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do so that you can be happy. Yes, they try to put the blame on you, on the good workers. Yeah, and you're not even doing anything wrong. You're doing everything right. Then they try to get rid of you. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your support. Let me put you in blue. There you go. Welcome to the Mod Squad, Jennifer. I really appreciate it. Happy Tuesday to you. I wanted to say to everybody who is a good worker, don't let other people tell you you're not a good worker. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to leave jobs. We have to leave the space because it's toxic. The environment is toxic, and we deserve better. I've had to do that from time to time. Not just quit, but go and find a better position that I know. Like what I would do is I would do my current job like Monday to Friday, and then I found another job like in a weekend position and see if I like it in the weekend. And then if I did, after maybe about 2 to 3 weeks of doing that job, and I like that job better than the one that I currently have, I would put in my 2-week notice and then make that other job my full-time job. You're welcome, Jennifer. I appreciate you. I have to say that it's hard, to be an adult. It really is. It's hard to be an adult. And sometimes on the job, if you don't control your mouth, you will wind up getting arrested. I've seen it on the job. Like people are making their coworkers get on their nerves, and things have been building, and they have not had the conversations that they need to have. They haven't said, don't do this, don't treat me like this, don't do this, and don't do that. So if you feel unsafe, if you feel controlled, if you feel disrespected, if you feel all of those things on the job, you need to let HR know so that it's documented. Because I know that sometimes it's the managers that will be after you for no reason at all. Like they have this vendetta against you. They just don't like you and they want to get rid of you. I don't know what is the reason, but maybe it's your personality or whatever. So it's all of those things. Yes, there are snakes and two-faced gossipers. They gossip your business and they believe their story, but not giving the full, they're not giving the full story to the person, the truth of what really happened. They're not. So, it's one of those things that we definitely have to pay attention. And I always make sure I document things. I put the date, I put the time, I put all of the people who are working, and I give those things to HR so that nobody can't say it was not documented. So that if something happens and some big issue happens, like I've seen happen on a job where things just keep happening. Things keep happening, and one day one person has this blow up. They just lose all control of everything, and they just start screaming and yelling. And then next thing, security is called, and then it becomes a really big issue. So if you feel like something is spiraling out of control, you feel like you're disrespected, you feel like you're being controlled, you feel like you're being used, you don't have to take it. You don't have to stay on that job. Go and find yourself a different one. Don't stay in a place where you're disrespected, you're talked about, and all of those things. Sometimes you can put a 2-week notice, but I also have burned a bridge sometimes. Sometimes it has just been so out of control with a person controlling and using and manipulating and mind games and disrespect that I have quit. And I regret that sometimes because I actually would like the job, but it's the person who is a manager. And before you go and quit, I would always say, before you quit, make sure you report that to the higher ups and tell them how you feel. Tell them what's going on, because the higher ups may not know what's happening. Maybe nothing may not happen for you, but you may make it a better work environment for other people. Yeah, always be on guard. Oh, I'm glad you're well. I'm glad you're well, Jennifer. Great to see you. Metro says, yeah, so always be on guard. You have to. You have to be on guard for your mental health. And I have to say this, working is very tough on your mental health, because we go through things in our everyday life. We go through things within your romantic relationship, with your friends, with your health. Some people are experiencing loss and sickness, and just the day-to-day trying to be able to take care of themselves and take care of their family and do everything that they need to so that they are all right. So please, everybody, please make sure that you take some time off for your mental health. And what gets on my nerves is sometimes you want to take some time off and the job will even control that. Like you'll put in that you want to take some time off for something, and then they'll decline it. They'll say, no, you can't have that time off. And it's like, especially if you're a person that never takes time off, I'm like, I have to take this time off. So if you don't give me this time, then I'll wind up quitting. And if they don't want to lose you, they will grant it. Metro says that's a good term to say. What goes around comes around. I haven't heard that term. Yeah, it is, but it's true though. What goes around comes around, and a lot of times jobs don't appreciate a good worker. They don't appreciate a loyal worker, the one that shows up on time, is a good employee, do what they have to do and leave. And they want a person who's messy. I don't know. I will never understand that some jobs would prefer to have somebody who's messy. They like to have somebody who just stirs the pot and makes trouble and is their little spy to go and look what everybody else is doing. I don't get it. I think those are the worst type of employees to have. I think it's good to have an employee that goes to the job, minds their own business, does what they have to do, and go home. But I guess I'm not like everybody. I don't go to a job to be friends with everybody, to talk about what's going on in my home environment. I don't like that. And I think sometimes that's the reason why people on the job don't like you. If you go on the job and you won't discuss your personal business, or if you stay off to yourself. And there are some individuals on the job that are so toxic. They're so toxic, they're so controlling, and they need help. Some people actually, they need help. A lot of people on jobs need to grow up. They may be an adult, but they're definitely not mature. They're definitely not mature. And I feel like that's so sad that it's a lot of adults working, but that doesn't make them mature. They have a lot of work that they need to do when it comes to maturing and being responsible and learning boundaries. And that's something that I want to talk about right now. When it comes to a job, you have to set boundaries when it comes to the other employees. And a lot of people don't know about boundaries. Like, you could be in a room and people will stretch over you. People will invade in your personal space, or like, people can't read body language, that sometimes you just don't want to talk to people. Sometimes maybe you're not having a good day. Sometimes you're not in a good headspace and you just want to be left alone. But don't let these people get to you. Yes. Metro says, in a way, yes, Marlene, some jobs think that they're in high school. Yeah, sometimes it's even like they're in elementary school. What is the term? Act your age and not your shoe size. Even though that they could be people who are like 21 years old, 25, 30, whatever, but they're still acting like they're 10 years old, 9 years old. They have not matured. That, okay, if somebody is here, even saying simple things like, excuse me, hey, can I come over here? They just will brush against you. People don't have boundaries. They're not mature. They don't know how to communicate what they're dealing with and going through. So you have to speak up for yourself, and you have to advocate for yourself. Oh, you received an excellent evaluation. Awesome. And I like the schedule that I created by approval to be more flexible and convenient for me. Yes. Yes, it's dull. It's not that easy, but it does require a lot of responsibility and accountability. Being an adult, it really does. Being an adult comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of accountability. You just have to take things one day at a time. That's so true, Metro. It's so true. You have to take things one day at a time, and don't let people on the job get to you. It's very easy to let them get to you. It's very easy. Yeah, very, very easy, but don't let them. Don't let them. So, I just wanted to come on and to cover this topic, and to say to everybody, don't let controlling workmates drive you crazy. Don't let them. And also, let's talk a little bit about controlling management. Have you ever had a controlling manager that actually is not managing? What they do is they just come in and they're there. They don't help the group, the team. They mostly sit in the office, or they only will talk to you to come in the office and complain about what you're not doing, but they never give any encouragement of all the things that you're doing good and the things that you're doing right. And that's one of the reasons why managers that are like that, they always have a high turnover rate. They never have a good amount of people that come to a job and stay on there for years because of management. I will always say that over and over again. A good work environment is because of good management. If you have good management, they have no problem rolling up their sleeves and helping everybody, asking questions. Is there something I can do to help you? Do you need some support? Do you need this? Do you need that? How's everybody doing? Like, and they're genuinely nice people. They're supportive of you. Like, they talk to you with respect and not talk down to you like you are a little kid. Yeah, sometimes it's beyond their control, and sometimes it's time to move on and just put in the 2 week notice for the reasoning. I'm glad I did an early retirement for 1.5 years with a farewell party. Yes. You have to know what is right for you. And management sometimes is not always management material. I know that I've seen people who get a job as management, and number one, they don't have the education. Number two, they're immature. Number three, they don't know what they're doing. And not everybody who's in management deserves to be in that position. Some people have got management position just because they've been there for so many years and they've just moved up in the company, but it doesn't mean they know what they're doing. So I had to make sure when it comes to a job that while I'm not going to tell them what to do, but I'm not going to let a manager disrespect me. To everybody, that goes to anybody who's hearing this message. Don't let a manager control you. Don't let a manager be disrespectful to you and make you feel less about yourself. One thing that I never like is a manager that will say, that's stupid, or you're stupid, or can't you do anything right? A lot of people who are in management positions do not know how to communicate effectively. They are not good leaders. There's a lot of people who are in management that don't know how to manage. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know anything about boundaries. They use the position of being a manager as a power trip. Like they're on this power trip that I'm the manager, and like the same rules don't apply to them. They feel like they can do whatever they want. They can talk to anybody the way they want because they're the manager. But what they are is their power. They have this power thing, and I can't stay at a job like that when you have a manager that has such a big ego, very disrespectful, don't know how to say thank you and appreciate the staff and do nice things, and just simple things like that. Even just saying thank you for showing up on time, thank you for this and thank you for that. But the ones that will always be demanding more, 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 like you never do anything right or you never do anything good enough, those are the ones that you have to dismiss them. You have to leave that position. You have to go somewhere else, or that manager's going to have to go. Yeah, toxic employees very likely does all the bad deeds. Yeah, and I see it all the time, Metro. I see it all the time. I'm so tired of employees and managers that are disrespectful. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to be in an environment, even if it's a 6 hour job, a 6 hour, an 8 hour, a 10 hour, a 12 hour, whatever your position is. It's hard to be in an environment with people that are controlling, manipulative, don't know how to communicate properly. They're disrespectful, or they come to the job with an attitude. Now, I'm not saying that people don't have problems in real life. I get that. But what I can't take is people come to the job and they're snapping at everybody on the job and nobody's done anything to them. Nobody hasn't bothered them. They just have their own issues and they don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know how to work on their mental health. And I know that I've taken 2 weeks off from my job just because of that. When I was going through some issues, when I had some loss in my life and I was going through various situations that I knew I wasn't going to be able to perform because my mind was just not there. So, that's something that I feel like it's important to do. If you know that you can't perform on a job, you need to take some time off so that you can get your head together. But I had to tell somebody on a job before, a coworker, don't come in here snapping at me, arguing with me, trying to start stuff with me, and I didn't do nothing to you. I tell them, I don't know what you're going through, and I'm sorry if you have something going on at home, but I'm not the one. Don't take it out on me. You have to speak up for yourself. And if they get mad or whatever, then you go higher up. If it's not getting better, if it's getting worse, report it. Because most of the time when things happen on a job, and I hate to say it like this, but actually sometimes it gets crazy when people have their issues on the outside and they want to pick fights with you. People will come back with a firearm, and and I work in healthcare, so I see all sorts of things in healthcare. People come back because they got fired from a job, and they just start actively, disabling a firearm on anybody that they see coming in. So it's not worth it to me to be at a job arguing with other people. When they want to argue with me, I said, you can argue by yourself. I'm not here to argue with you. Go and tell the management or somebody else, but I don't argue with people on the job. And some people come to the work with an attitude, what's going on in their romantic relationship, with their kids, in their life, their health problems. They're just bitter and angry because they're just a miserable person. And then they come to the job with that attitude, with their drama and foolishness and all of that. And I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I'm not the one to continue to put up with their drama and their lies and their manipulation and all of those things. Yes, they need to grow up, especially some of the older adults acting like kids. And that's what I can't take. To be honest with you, Metro, I cannot take that part. You have fully grown adults. Sometimes these are not little, not like a young adult. I mean, these are adults that are like in their 50s, 60s, even sometimes 70s, acting like a little kid, trying to get people fired, trying to throw people under the bus and get them written up. Like, why would you do that? But I always say, what goes around comes around. What people do in the dark always comes to the light. It doesn't matter how somebody treats you. Eventually, the same thing is going to happen to them, no matter what. People are always going to give you back what you put out there. Good morning, Lashes. How are you doing? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Happy Tuesday to you. And for me, I've been on various type of jobs. I started off when I was probably 19. I've worked in retail. I've worked at not grocery store, but like dollar stores. I've worked in restaurants. I've worked in hospitals, nursing homes. I've done very, very different type of jobs, but all of it is basically the same. For me, I feel like the most important thing is for people to need to learn to respect one another. Everybody doesn't have to like each other. A job is not a place for likes. I don't have to like you, but one thing, you have to respect me and you have to respect my boundaries. Metro says, ever since I became a leader and manager in my position, I have guided my crew what we all should do if I have no idea what to do. Yeah. You ask questions, right? When you don't know what to do, you ask questions. And that's the thing, is a lot of people on the job, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. And yet they get mad because maybe something will be like simple to you and they will be a supervisor or a manager and they don't even know how to do it. So I do think sometimes management and supervisors get upset when you just naturally, you just have a higher work ethic, or things just naturally come to you. Maybe you're very effective at your job and they don't like it. A lot of people don't like when you are better at a job than they are, especially if they're management. They don't want the whatever, your team, your other employees, to like you more than they like them. And that's like preschool stuff. I think I had one controlling manager a few years back. So I had a discussion with him in his office. Yeah, if you have some issues, you got to talk about it. Talk about how you feel, because I'm not a person that, I don't just like to just fire. Not fire. I don't like to just leave and quit a job. I try my best to get along with people. I'm a person that, I'm there at the job, but I'm not a person that likes to be in the group and talking with anybody. I'm not that person. I guess you could say it like I'm an antisocial worker. I go to my job, I mind my business, I do my work. I'm not there talking and laughing with everybody. I'm just not that person, because I don't believe in having friendships on the job, because when things happen, it always gets messy. Yep, you always try to bring in motivation. Yep, it's very important. You have to be motivated on a job, and a lot of people on jobs are not motivated. All they want to do is control you. All they want to do is talk about you, and that's it. And I just don't like environments like that are very toxic. And I found like in most customer service jobs, like if you work in grocery store, bank, fast food, restaurant, things like that, even in the medical field like I work in, that it's hard to work in customer service, because it's like customer service is not even really there anymore. People don't know how to communicate, because just about everybody is on their phone, hiding, talking on their phone, or they're slacking off by being on the computer. They're out on smoke breaks every 10 to 15 minutes, and you're the one always left doing the work. So one thing that I started to do, I started to take smoke breaks, and I don't smoke. If you're going to get 15 minutes, every 15 minutes you're taking a smoke break, I started taking smoke breaks too. I'll just go outside, just hop in your car, sit down and relax for 10 minutes, because if you can get 2 minutes every 15 minutes, why should I be there doing all the work and you're gone like at least 4 times an hour? You have to realize that about yourself, know that you don't have to take all of that. Yeah, you don't want any coworkers or management to disrespect you. That's right, Metro. A lot of people, exactly, they don't know what they are doing at all. A lot of people who are in management or supervisors or team leads, they don't know what they're doing. They have this power trip, and they're so like, oh, I'm the manager, I'm the supervisor, I'm the team lead, and they let that title get to their head, and they don't know how to lead. They have no leadership skills. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to talk to people with respect. So I do believe that there should be some training when it comes to being management, and they should be evaluated from time to time, and they don't. Yeah, you don't want any coworkers or manager to disrespect you because the lack of communication, and they don't listen or care. It's their loss if they lose a good worker. Yeah, I always say that. It's their loss, because I've had to leave jobs and I feel sad because I like the job, but I can't deal with their disrespect, or like everybody on the job they're all friends, and because I'm not in that group, I'm not in that clique, they don't like me, so they treat you very disrespectfully and rude. And one thing I don't like is, don't ever cuss me out. Don't ever cuss me out, because my Caribbean side will come out really bad. Yeah, they're thinking it's all about the money and the power that will be their downfall. Yeah, until they get fired. Because I've actually seen managers, they've had their manager come in like in a pop-up, just show up because their people are giving complaints about them. So they just surprise them, and I've seen them be walked out because they get fired. So nobody is above the law. Nobody is above rules. Rules are there for everybody, but there's a lot of people that don't understand that even as a manager, they have to be respectful of other people. As a manager, they need to learn to communicate and talk about, things, and not just jump to the conclusions, and not just try to get people in trouble and write them up and all of those things. Yes, they are very demanding, and it's a total outrage. Yeah, very demanding. And that's one of the things that I don't like. I don't like a person who is controlling and demanding, because just even though it's a job and you're working, you still have the power of choice. You don't have to do things exactly how they want it, when they want it, all the time. You have the power, like, I'll do that later, I'll do it tomorrow or next week or whatever, as long as it gets done. Metro says they probably have issues in their personal life and family problems, and then they snap on good souls at work, and that will cost them their position. It's either a verbal warning or termination. Yeah, I've seen it. One time I had a manager, and I didn't even know. This person just walks in with a business suit and calls the manager in the office, and then maybe about 15-20 minutes later, I see them with a box being walked out by security. So obviously that meant that they were fired. So who knows? Nobody is above the law, and a lot of managers need to understand that. Sometimes they'll actually abuse the position, like using company funds, being very disrespectful to other people, and yeah, especially put them in their place. Wi-Fi discussion that needs to be worked on. Yeah, people will come to work and they'll be on their social media. They'll be doing, like little short clips for their social media channels. Like, they'll be doing all kinds of things, like Boss Life Online says, doing the most. They'll be doing all of these things that they don't need to do on the job, and sit back, relax, like they have nothing to do, when everybody else is doing their job and they're not. It's crazy to me what happens on a job, but that's what it is. There's nothing that we can do about those people. But just like I said earlier, what goes around comes around. What people do in the dark, it always comes to the light. And eventually they're going to be fired. Eventually they're going to lose that position, or you as an employee will get sick of it and will find something better and have to move on. I have to say this to every person. Whatever you do for work, make sure it's a place that you feel like it's a safe environment. You should always feel safe on your job. You should never feel harassed. You should never feel like a doormat. And one thing that I definitely don't like is when you have a position on the job and they always want you to be the person to work overtime. And that's something that, yeah, while it's nice to be able to have a little bit more money, but you can't always do overtime, or they want to call you on your day off and you work hard enough. So, you do have to tell your managers, supervisors, no, and on your days off, just don't answer the phone. And I've even had managers like get mad at me when I came back to work. I called you for you to come in. Like, I was like, are you threatening me? Like, sometimes, like, they'll be like threatening you when I called you for you to come in. Like, it's my day off. I don't have to answer the phone. It's a different thing if I was supposed to be at work. That's a different thing. I don't like that. That's very controlling. Metro says to end an argument, just walk away and ignore them. Give them complete silence. Yeah. Well, I don't walk away from them when they're talking. I just stand there and I just look at them, And then when they're done, I say nothing. I never say anything. Yeah, it sounds like lots of red flags if they continue to have this problem and don't take care of themselves. Yeah, and they don't care. They don't care about how they treat other employees. They don't care how they, you know, talk to other people. They think that they're above the rules. They think that nothing can ever happen to them. They feel like they can never get fired. They can never get written up. You know, I tell people all the time, as an employee, you have rights. You have rights to be paid the ways that you're supposed to be paid. You have the right to be able to get time off. You have the right to get more money, get a raise. All of those are our rights. And sometimes management, supervisors or whoever, people who make the schedules, make it seem like we don't have rights because they try to control every single thing. They want us to always be at work and for them to be able to take time off. So that's why you have to speak up for yourself. And if you feel like your rights are being violated, it's time to go to HR. And if nothing works in HR, it's time for you to go above their head and go to a CEO or somebody higher up, because nobody deserves to be disrespected like this. Nobody deserves to be talked to and disrespected and controlled and manipulated and lied on. And I know I've been in that position to be on a job and don't feel safe. Like, actually feel like somebody's gonna hit me or somebody's always belittling me and talking about me. And I've had to report it to higher up that I've been cussed at. I've been called a racial slur. And of course that they adamantly denied it. But one thing that one manager didn't know is that one of the other employees was around the corner and heard when they called me a racial slur, and when they denied it, and when a case came out and they asked other people, they said, I heard when they said that. So don't think you're above the law just because you're in management. Don't think you're above rules because you work somewhere or you're friends with the managers. Anybody can be fired. Anybody can be written up. Anybody can be let go. But also, we have the right, if you feel like you're not growing, it's not a safe environment, then it's time to move on. It's time to move on in the position. It's time to move on from that job. And, you know, you deserve better than that. I think that's a very important thing that I wanted to say in today's podcast. Don't stay anywhere where you're not being well received, anywhere where you don't feel like you're appreciated. If you always feel like no matter how much you do, they're never satisfied. They never give you a compliment. They never say thank you. You know, all of those. Yeah. Yes, Metro, everyone deserves better. Everyone deserves better. So I have to say thank you all so much to everybody who tuned in to this podcast live, and anybody who is watching right now on the replay. Thank you so much. If you have not hit the like, please hit the like. Subscribe to this channel. I do podcasts Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Today is a little different because I had an appointment yesterday, but my regular schedule is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I welcome you to join me on these podcasts 3 times a week. I'll see you all back tomorrow on the podcast. Check out the community tab so that you can vote what tomorrow's topic is going to be. I like to make you guys have topics that you enjoy, that you want to talk about. So check out the community tab. Check out my previous podcasts. You have tuned in to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. Don't forget to check out my moderators. And if you want to support this channel, watch a playlist. Hit the like. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. I also have Cash App and Buy Me a Coffee if you would like to support the channel in that way. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will definitely see you all back on tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, make sure you vote on the community tab. I'm about to get off of here and set that up make sure you vote. What topic do you want tomorrow? Thank you so much, Metro, Miss Tamika, and Jennifer, and anybody else who came in and maybe are watching in the background. I appreciate every single one of you, and make sure you keep your self-respect. Don't let controlling people on a job, whether it's a coworker or a manager, give you any disrespect. You deserve more than that. Respect yourself, love yourself, because we're worth it. Thank you, Metro. You too. Have a great day. Be positive. Great discussion. I appreciate that. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.